Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So this week, Bitcoin retested a major level of support, being the 50 EMA on the weekly time frame. Historical retests of this level generally mark a major reversal for Bitcoin as we bounce on support and a dynamic macro uptrend, or falling below it, we enter a bear market. So the weekly candle close is only a couple days away, and so is the next FOMC meeting. So let's dive into the charts today and talk about everything that's developing on the price action, including the likelihood of a reversal here and what's going to confirm and signal that that is happening. Before we dive in, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday and Saturday, and join my free Telegram for more regular updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in my VIP channel, be sure to message me on Telegram to get more details. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so jumping into the charts, before we dive into our analysis, let's talk about the recent price action here on the weekly time frame and our current economic landscape. So here on the weekly chart, we can see very clearly that Bitcoin has been in quite a downward trajectory for the whole of 2025 so far, and this descent has led it to eventually go on and retest this major level of dynamic support at the 50 EMA on the weekly chart. That is this blue squiggly line over here. Now the 50 EMA is a macro uptrend, right, indicator, and historically speaking, when we fall below the 50 EMA, we tend to see warning signs for a high time frame bearish trajectory. It was the fall below the 50 EMA here, and the later confirmation of the rejection from the 3-day Gaussian channel midline here that led to Bitcoin having a high time frame bear market, where we went all the way down to 16,000 where we bottomed out. And later on, when we recovered back above the 50 EMA over here in 2023 or early 2023, that is when Bitcoin started its accumulation phase. We started to see uptrending price action, and of course we entered the bull market. Now, at this point, with our weekly candle close just 2 days away, it does look like so far we are bouncing from the 50 EMA, but we're in a crucial sort of position right now where we could be seeing a potential high time frame reversal here for Bitcoin, just like we saw over here in September 2024, or it could be the start of a high time frame bearish descent. Now, before we dive into the smaller time frame charts and into our analysis, let's talk about the economic policy. So this week on Wednesday, we had CPI and inflation data come out, and it was starting to look promising. The forecast was trending downwards, and the actual results were even lower than the forecast itself. So inflation year on year was 2.8% as opposed to 2.9 forecasted, and the month on month was 0.2, as opposed to the 0.3 forecasted. So that came out really, really bullish. And we have our upcoming FOMC meeting in about 4 days' time. So we can see here the likelihood of seeing a rate cut obviously isn't high. It's at 1% right now, but that is, potentially going to change again if the economic landscape and inflation starts to go down and we start to see see more of the effects of Trump's economic policies, like his tariffs, and what that's actually doing to the economy in the US. So we have a potentially pivoting economic landscape as well. And so all of this sort of shapes up to, is this the moment where Bitcoin bottoms so far in 2025 and we see a high time frame reversal? So diving into the daily chart, let's talk about the confirmation that we'll have here on the daily chart of a reversal for Bitcoin. So here we can see a couple really crucial indicators. First of all, being our 2025 downtrend mapped out really, really clearly over here, and I guess maps out the lower highs trajectory across 2025 so far, as well as our RSI downtrend, mapping out the decrease in momentum that we've had the entirety of this sort of consolidation period from the start at 91,000 and this descent throughout 2025. And then we have our triggers. So we have our short time frame uptrend on the RSI developed by our bullish divergence here at the retest of $76,000, and we have our 200 EMA resistance. Those are our triggers. If we lose our short time frame uptrend over here on the RSI, that is a trigger that this reversal or attempt to reverse has failed, and it's likely that Bitcoin is headed downwards towards $76,000 once again. And we have the 200 EMA being the trigger for bullish price action and a retest of our high time frame downtrend here on the price action, right? And a breakout of both this downtrend and our RSI downtrend over here is what's going to signal that Bitcoin is headed in for a high time frame reversal. Now, the 200 EMA is particularly important over here, as historically, very similar to the 50 EMA, it has marked out, I guess, periods where Bitcoin will enter a high time frame downtrend. And luckily over here, Bitcoin established support at $76,000. But if we continue to reject off that level, it's likely that we'll continue to absorb the buying pressure at these sort of levels of support, and Bitcoin will continue in its high time frame descent throughout the rest of the year, right? So the first thing that we really want to see is the flip of the 200 EMA. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at where that price is on the daily time frame right now, that 200 EMA sits currently at around $85,500, and that is essentially right now our most crucial level of resistance. Another piece of evidence, or I guess analysis supporting that, is if we go over and take a look at the 3-day Gaussian channel. So in my weekly time frame, if you guys remember or you were paying attention, I spoke about how in the last sort of cycle, it was the rejection from the midline of the Gaussian channel here that confirmed the high time frame breakdown for Bitcoin, right after we lost the 50 EMA on the weekly time frame as well. So if we go ahead and take a look at what's happening right now on the 3-day chart in the Gaussian channel, we can see that the midline of the Gaussian channel has currently perfect confluence with the 200 EMA on the daily time frame. They are both representing the major sort of change of character that we have at $85.5 thousand. Another piece of evidence confirming that if we are able to flip that, we should be able to, at the very least, push up to retest our downtrend. And upon exiting that downtrend, pushing back above the top of our Gaussian channel here, and above resistance at 91 to 92,000, Bitcoin should see a continuation of a high time frame reversal. So the charts are really sort of wrapping up to show us the sort of really critical position that Bitcoin is in right now. We're sort of in this limbo where we haven't really confirmed a reversal. We're seeing potentially the beginnings of that, but there is still a potential that that goes on to fail if we lose our short time frame RSI uptrend, and we continue to reject off the 200 EMA. Those are both warning signs that while it looked promising for a moment there, it still wasn't enough. So with all that in mind, let's quickly go ahead and dive into the short time frame before we talk about the impact of all of this developing price action on altcoins and what to be watching out on TOTAL3 as well. So really quickly on the hourly chart, what we're really looking for here is the continued developments of higher highs on Bitcoin, which is a new development over here, right? We finally pushed above this level of resistance at 84,000, and we are developing this higher high and higher lows on the price action. And we want to see that continued on the short time frame as we push above levels of resistance. The next one's at 86.5 thousand. We've got a little bit of a volume gap here, and establish that as a level of support, and that continued laddering upwards is what's going to allow Bitcoin to finally approach this high time frame downtrend, that black line drawn over there, and of course that's going to translate onto the higher time frame charts, being the 200 EMA break, the breakout of our daily chart RSI downtrend, and eventually the actual price action downtrend that we have over here. So over the next 24 hours, what we want to make sure that Bitcoin is doing is holding above this level that we've just broken above. So $84,000, we want to make sure we're holding that as a base of support. We're flipping that change of character level to support and facilitating a continued upward trajectory on the short time frame. Moving over onto altcoins. So we've had a pretty interesting development here on TOTAL3, and of course we're in a descending wedge pattern, and in similarity to the price action on Bitcoin, we're sort of in this position where we could be seeing a breakout for TOTAL3 and a genuine high time frame reversal. Now, naturally, looking at this pattern here, what's going to trigger that is a breakout of the structural downtrend. This one over here, which would also include the break above the 200 EMA for TOTAL3, as well as the 50 EMA here, and then pushing TOTAL3 into an uptrend. The final or total measured move is the height of that, taking us back up to retest the all-time high for TOTAL3 or altcoin market cap at 1.16 trillion. So exciting developments on these charts as well, right? So all of it's sort of like, yeah, potentially we could be reversing. What's going to invalidate this analysis here on TOTAL3 though is if we continue to reject off once again these levels of resistance here, currently sitting at 840 billion. We lose the base of our trend line here and our current support at $700 billion. So we fall below that level and we have a breakdown of our descending wedge instead. It's very likely then that altcoins are going to continue in their bearish descent, moving on to retest the next level of support at 640 billion and then at 570, right? Continued high time frame bearish price action. Alrighty guys, that is a wrap on the analysis today. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you guys liked the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And join my free Telegram channel for more regular updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in my VIP channel, don't forget to contact me on Telegram for more details. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!